You're watching West Liberty University's Newsline 14.
Good afternoon and welcome back to October's first welcome back to this week's edition of Newsline 14. I'm Elena Lynch.
And I'm Davey McKinney. Let's see what's happening on the Hilltop and in national and local news.
It's that time of year when West Liberty students are unraveling from a long semester on the Hilltop. Did you have any concerns throughout the year? If you found there was a leaky sink or quickly ran through your dining dollars for Starbucks, this is the time to voice your concerns. Next Monday, November 20th, the Student Government Association will be holding an end-of-semester town hall for students, faculty, and staff alike to get answers on these issues. The event will be held in the Student Union Ballroom from noon to 1 p.m. Featured panelists include Dr. Tim Borchers, West Liberty University's president, Katie Cooper, the vice president of Student Affairs and Enrollment, Douglas Ories, the Aladdin District Manager, Jenna McGuire, SGA President, and Derek Roner, SGA Vice President. Email sga@westliberty.edu with any questions or comments. And the City of Weirton will be having their 4th annual Christmas on Main Street this Saturday, November 18th. This year's event will be a collaboration between the Weirton Festival Committee and the Parks and Recreation Board. There will be an array of activities at the event, including, but not limited to, inflatables, live bands, train rides, and up to 50 vendors. There will also be indoor activities at the Millstop Community Center. The event will also feature a toy and food drive that will continue until December 1st. The festival committee's goal is to make this event bigger and better than last year's. The event will start at 1 p.m. and will last until 7. And the event will conclude with tree lighting and fireworks, which will start at 7 p.m.
In Wheeling news, the Capitol Theater is showing the Nutcracker Magical Christmas Ballet. The show will be performed by the Ukrainian principal artists. The performance will include not just ballet, but also acrobatics and larger puppets throughout the show. There are several ticket options that give you the opportunity to get a collectible book, a Nutcracker ornament, and preferred seating. The show will take place on Monday, November 27th at 7 p.m. To purchase your tickets or to see more shows coming to the Capitol, please visit capitoltheaterwheeling.com/events. Are you looking for a way to stay in shape? Maybe you are looking for a fun way to kill time in the slower, colder months. Regardless, next Monday at 8 p.m. at Blacknick Hall, there will be another kickball tournament. As always, bring a water bottle to stay hydrated, shoes that support your ankles, and maybe even a change of clothes. The event is open to all students and is a fun way to stay active. To those who have never played it, follows the same rules as baseball. However, rather than using a baseball and bat, the players use a kickball or dodgeball and roll the ball to a kicker. This is one of my favorite sports, and if you have never played, this would be a perfect time to step up to the plate and kick it with your fellow Hilltoppers. Now let's send it over to Haley Blackmore for our trumpet update of this week.
My name is Haley Blakemore. I am the social media manager and photographer for the trumpet here at West Liberty University. In recent news, local Wheeling Bar hosts Halloween drag show despite West Virginia anti-drag bills, and West Liberty's University's Pride Club 3rd annual drag bingo brings life to the Hilltop. Soon you'll see stories on Oktoberfest and the Halloween Bash. Looking into the future, Caitlin Reynolds is talking about Thanksgiving around the world at the church. Jenna McGuire is reporting on the Festival of Lights and traffic. Davey reporting on West Liberty men's basketball game. Matt Barch is writing about Winterfest. Sarah Schultz is reviewing the Christmas play. And Andrew Gadd is critiquing Charcuterie Night. To keep up with the voice of the Hilltop, go to the Trumpet's website at thetrumpetwlu.org or check out our social media. Our Facebook page is The Trumpet at West Liberty University, and our Instagram and Twitter, aka X, is The Trumpet WLU.
Thank you, Haley, for that trumpet update. And back to local news. Thanksgiving is still days away, but the Soup Kitchen of Greater Wheeling has already begun making preparations for their Thanksgiving meal. The kitchen has begun roasting turkeys this week. Once finished, the meat is taken off the bones, packaged and frozen to be reheated along with stuffing, noodles, and sweet potatoes. The Soup Kitchen provides its Thanksgiving meal the day before Thanksgiving and is expecting to serve more than 200 for Thanksgiving lunch between 11 a.m. and 12 p.m. on November 22nd.
Everyone is starting to get in the holiday spirit. Friday, November 17th, Wheeling is hosting their annual Christmas parade. This parade will encompass bands from local schools, dancers, and various floats, and the one and only Santa Claus. The parade will begin at 6 p.m. on Market Street and then head south through Century Market. The parade will make a turnoff of Market Street onto Main Street near 24th or 26th Street. The parade will finish with right on 20th Street, which will result in around 7/10 of a mile. Everyone is welcome and encouraged to come out on Friday for the event to welcome in the holiday season. Stay with us and we will be right back after this short PSA.
National news is coming up next here on Newsline 14.
Going off to college can be an exciting yet stressful time for students. It's great to know you can bring all your knowledge to college. There's one thing you should know before you leave that some people forget. Microwave safety is something everyone should know. Remember to read instructions carefully and watch the microwave in order to avoid any disasters. Remember to read instructions carefully and watch the microwave in order to avoid any disasters.
You're watching Newsline 14.
Welcome back to Newsline 14.
Let's take a look at our national news. A refuge pond in Hawaii is making waves after its water abruptly changed colors. On October 30th, Maui locals reported a bright pink hue coming from Kealia Pond. The staff at Kealia Pond Wildlife Refuge began closely monitoring the situation. Brett Wolf, refuge manager, expressed concern over whether the color change was due to algae growth. However, recent lab tests have shown that it is not the case. Instead, the pink coloring is likely due to an organism called halobacteria. This organism is caused by high salt levels. The salt content in Kealia Pond is currently estimated at about 70 parts per thousand. That number is roughly twice the amount in normal salt water. A likely culprit for the halobacteria growth is the current drought in Maui. However, more tests will take place before any final conclusions can be drawn. The refuge staff has warned locals not to enter or consume the water until it is declared safe. And down in Georgia, the state's oldest unsolved case has finally been solved after 35 years. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation announced they charged Evelyn Odom, the victim's mother, and boyfriend with the murder of baby Jane Doe, now publicly identified as the 5-year-old Kiki Odom. She was found on December 21st, 1988 by road workers who came across her body in Ware County in southeast Georgia. After decades without breakthroughs in the case, the GBI published a news release in December of 2022 asking for tips. In the following months, a woman contacted the investigators saying she believed that she knew who the child was. She said she knew of a mother whose child had gone missing, and at the time, the mother said she went to live with her father. The investigators looked into the woman's claims and were able to identify her. On November 1st, they arrested Odom and her boyfriend. Both have been taken to Dougherty County to face charges.
Ukrainian troops have crossed the Dnipro River into occupied areas of Kherson region. Russia has dispatched more troops to stop them. Ukraine secured a foothold on the eastern bank of Dnipro against all odds, a potentially major setback for Russia occupation forces in the south, where Kyiv is trying to open a new line of attack. The Ukrainian military is trying to push Russian forces back from the eastern bank of the river, which serves as a natural barrier on the battlefield. Donald Trump's lawyers on Wednesday urged a New York judge to declare a mistrial in a civil fraud case over his family real estate company's business practices. However, the odds of that happening are slim. Trump's lawyers argued in court filings that the conduct of Justice Arthur Engoron, who is overseeing the case, and his law clerk showed they were biased against the defendants. A spokesperson for New York Attorney General Letitia James said Trump was trying to distract from his fraud. The case is among the many legal woes facing Trump as he campaigns for the presidency.
Every 2 years, NASA has to deal with the loss of communication with various Mars missions that are going on. The sun interferes with accurate communications between the rovers and orbiters on missions around Mars. NASA has opted to stop giving the robots commands, as the jumbled messages they receive could cause a move that would be fatal to the machines. While NASA is still receiving health updates, they are not actively continuing missions for the next 2 weeks or so, until the sun is no longer in the direct line of communication.
A Wisconsin woman accused of spiking her friend's water bottle with a lethal dose of eye drops was found guilty on Tuesday of first-degree intentional homicide. 39-year-old Jesse Kurzweski was found guilty on all counts, including intentional homicide and theft. Kurzweski had been charged in connection with the death of 62-year-old Lennon Hernan, who was found dead in her home in Pewaukee in 2018. The case was intentionally ruled as a drug overdose, but was reopened by the Waukesha County Sheriff's Office after 3 months, when a toxicological report showed that Hernan had a fatal dose of and was charged in June of 2021. Kureski will be sentenced at a later date, but she faces a mandatory life sentence in prison.
Earlier today in the UK, Healthcare and Regulatory Agency announced its approval for Casgevy, which is the first medicine to use the gene therapy tool, which was created back in 2020. This medicine will be used to treat diseases such as sickle cell, which is caused by mutations in the human genome. Up until now, the only effective long-lasting treatment for diseases such as sickle cell has been bone marrow transplants, which come with unpleasant side effects. The new gene therapy treatments will be available for people 12 years of age and older. And moving back into the States, a national nonprofit saved nearly 60 dogs from a Kentucky breeding and hoarding facility earlier this week. Animal rescuers responded to a call in Hart County, Kentucky, to assist with roughly 60 dogs held in captivity. Most of the dogs were chained to trees and stakes in the woods, with shelters made of pallets, water barrels, plywood, or horse trailers for cover. According to the ARC, there was also 3 litters of puppies found on the property. Many of these dogs exhibited extreme neglect, including eye injuries, fur loss, and external parasites. These dogs have been moved to Tennessee and are receiving the care that they need.
Please stay tuned, because after a short break, we will take a look at what is happening in the world of sports.
That's right. We'll be right back with some Topper team and professional sports news next.
be a fun and delicious activity, a lot can go wrong if you're not careful. Here are a few tips to make sure your meal prep is pain-free. Keep raw meat and raw vegetables on separate surfaces to reduce chances of cross-contamination. Make sure your burner is clean so it does not cause any problems when it is ignited. Cook meat until it appears done on each side, and take the internal temperature to make sure it is done all the way. Before cutting vegetables, make sure your cutting board is completely secured. When cutting vegetables, be very careful so you do not cut your own hand. Keep a firm grip on the knife and your veggies, and keep your left hand in a position out of the way of the knife. Make sure to keep an eye on everything you are cooking, especially things on high heat or meals that involve butter or oil so they don't burn. Cook your meat thoroughly before adding it to other ingredients. Wash your hands often throughout and clean up by washing your dishes when you're finished. Make sure to use these tips every time you cook to ensure your meal goes smoothly. This message was brought to you by WLU-TV.
To ensure you can enjoy the holidays while being safe, here are some Christmas tree safety tips and facts. 1 of every 4 house Christmas tree fires is caused by electrical problems. Decorations not bearing a certification label from an independent testing laboratory have not been tested for safety and could be hazardous. Outlets and faulty wires are a common cause of holiday fires, so avoid overloading them by plugging in only one high wattage appliance into each outlet at a time.
You're watching Newsline 14.
Welcome back to Newsline 14. Here's Davey McKinney with your sports update for this week.
The Pittsburgh Penguins have improved their record to 8-6 on the year after their win on Tuesday against the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Pens won by a score of 5-3. Goals from Jake Gowensel, Eric Carlson, and most importantly, Pittsburgh captain Sidney Crosby's 3 goals on 3 shots propelled the Penguins to this victory. This game marks the 16th time in his career that Sidney Crosby has recorded a hat trick. Goaltender Tristan Jarry finished the game with 27 saves on 30 shots against him, and the team as a whole finished with 9 assists. The Penguins look to keep improving their record when they take on the New Jersey Devils tonight at 7 p.m. The Pittsburgh Steelers moved to 6-3 with another win over the Green Bay Packers. The game was a close one until the fourth quarter, where the Steelers pushed past the Packers to win the game 23-19. During the game, Pittsburgh lost another inside linebacker, Kwan Alexander, after losing Cole Holcomb last week. Alexander was ready to step up and help lead the Steelers' defense against the Packers, but came up short with a serious leg injury. Head coach Mike Tomlin is worried whether or not Alexander will be returning for the remainder of the season. Tomlin mentioned that he has 2 players on the practice squad that he anticipates will help the Steelers' defense at the inside linebacker position. He mentioned Tyree Carpenter and Mykal Walker could possibly be called up for the Week 11 game against the Cleveland Browns. Walker played for the Atlanta Falcons last season and started 12 games, whereas Carpenter made his NFL debut against the Packers on special teams. Walker and Carpenter both stated that they are ready for their opportunity to help the Steelers' defense and to win games. The Hilltoppers football team welcomed the Wheeling Cardinals to West Family Stadium last Saturday for Senior Day. The Hilltoppers were able to take home the victory over the Cardinals 31-3. It was a slow first quarter for both teams, as both sides failed to score on the first play of the quarter. Number 2, Brennan Seacrest sent a 50-yard punt downfield and pinned the Cardinals deep in their own territory. On the second play of the Cardinals' drive, Cam Rice picked off a Landon Lutz pass and returned it to the end zone for 6. Midway through the second, Wheeling had a drive in the red zone, but the West Liberty defense came up with 3 big stops, forcing a field goal by Joe Lima. At the break, West Liberty held a 7-3 lead. The third quarter saw a defensive explosion for the Hilltoppers. Cam Rice intercepted a second pass and returned this one to the house for his second pick six. DeAndre Horsley came up with the third pick six of the game with just under 4 minutes to go in the quarter. The final 15 minutes was slow, much like the first 15. West Liberty's Justin Kaplan made a 31-yard field goal early in the fourth quarter, but both offenses fell flat after that. West Liberty's quarterback Rudy Garcia threw for 216 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception in the 31-3 win. The New Orleans Pelicans came through with the ultimate payback of their season yesterday at 7 p.m. Suffering a humiliating loss to the Mavericks, previous to the rematch, the Pelicans appeared to be incapable of touching the Mavericks as they closed distance with the impressive dunks and shut them out with the jaw-dropping threes. However, this time the Pelicans came ready and with a message to the Mavericks and critics. In poetic justice, New Orleans came through fast break after fast break and shot to secure a win at 110-131, which is almost as much as a lead as the Mavericks had on the Pelicans the game prior. This just goes to show the unpredictability of the game. I can't wait to see what happens moving forward. The new Division I college football rankings have been released this week, and with 2 weeks remaining in the regular season, the 10-0 Georgia Bulldogs have now reclaimed the number 1 spot in the top 25. It was a second straight week defeating a ranked opponent for the Bulldogs, and after Missouri's big win over Tennessee, it helped boost Georgia over Ohio State in the rankings. The Buckeyes are now sitting at 2 in front of Michigan at 3, who has been coming off of a 24-15 win over the 11th ranked Penn State Nittany Lions, and Florida State at 4, who survived in a close game against Miami. With the regular season almost at its end, many 10-0 teams are looking to survive these final couple weeks and win out in their conference championships. With that being said, no team with 2 losses has ever made the college football playoffs. Since most teams in the top 10 have 2 or fewer losses, 9 teams appear to be in the playoff contention. There are just 3 rankings left, including the last one on December 3rd, which will set the field for the final 4-team playoff before the expansion to 12 teams next year. The Ohio State and Michigan game is scheduled to play November 25th in Columbus, and many things can happen in the top 4 after that. If the Washington Huskies can remain unbeaten, they could definitely make a shot at the number 4 seed in the playoffs this season. The Cleveland Browns pulled off a huge win in Baltimore this past Sunday, followed by a huge second-half performance by the Browns starting quarterback Deshaun Watson. The Browns were able to kick a last-second field goal to secure the win. As most things in Cleveland, there are always a price to pay. Shocking news came out yesterday that starting quarterback Deshaun Watson suffered a season-ending shoulder injury during Sunday's win. The Browns currently sit at 6-3 on the season with a huge game against the Pittsburgh Steelers this Sunday. The Browns announced that rookie quarterback Doran Thompson-Robinson will get the start. This is less than ideal for the Browns, with a chance to take the lead in the AFC North.
Thank you for that sports update. We're going to head into a short break and be right back with the weather update here on Newsline 14.
Are you tired of trying to figure out how to wrap presents? Try a cooler way of wrapping your gifts. Just cut some wrapping paper into a square and turn it diagonally. Begin folding back the extra paper and tape. It makes stressful wrapping easy. Happy holidays!
Everybody has passions. We all strive to better ourselves and achieve something we've wanted to work towards. Sometimes this comes back to us, though. Those who try to bring you down and find fun in the mockery of others. It can be rough, dealing with all that negativity can influence how you feel. But they don't matter. What matters is the people around you who push you to get better and reach for even further goals. Stop listening to those cyberbullies. Only then will their hatred stop. For more information, go to www.cybersmile.com or call 1-800-273-8255.
You're watching Newsline 14.
Welcome back to Newsline 14. I'm Elena Lynch, and now let's take a look at our 5-day forecast. On Thursday, we will see a high of 64 and a low of 37 with partly cloudy skies. Friday, we will see rainy skies with a high of 59 and a low of 45. As we kick off the weekend, Saturday, we will see sunny skies with a high of 47 and a low of 34. And on Sunday, a high of 50 and a low of 32, with sunny skies again. And finally, on Monday, expect cloudy skies with a high of 48 and a low of 32.
Thank you, Elena, for the weather update, but it looks like we are just out of time.
Yes, we are, but before we go, don't go anywhere yourself. We have one final reminder for this upcoming week.
West Liberty University's Thanksgiving break starts this Wednesday. So make sure your calendars are marked for departure, or make sure you are applied for housing if you plan on staying on campus over the break.
And don't forget to communicate with your professors. Although official break starts on Wednesday, some additional classes are canceled. So check with your professor before next week to get the schedule clarification.
Well, what are you planning to do for Thanksgiving?
I'm going home. I'm going to have a big meal. Nothing too crazy, but just some time with some family. What are you doing?
I plan to do the same. I'm actually going to a friend's Thanksgiving
Friendsgiving.
on Wednesday, and then I will be home in Charleston with my family.
There you go.
For mine on Thursday. Now, my grandmother makes a killer pumpkin pie, so that's what I'm looking forward to.
Okay.
So, do you have anything you're looking forward to for Thanksgiving meal?
My grandma makes, this sounds weird, but my grandma makes a green Jell-O.
A green
And
Jell-O.
And it's really good. It's like a fluffy Jell-O, though.
What's in it?
I have no idea. It's a big family secret. It's very good, though.
All right.
I promise. I know it sounds weird, but it's really good.
A green Jell-O.
Green Jell-O.
Okay.
Has like a cream pie, like a key lime pie, a type of flavoring.
All right. Well, with that being said, we are just out of time. So thank you all for tuning in and enjoy your break next week. I'm Davey McKinney.
And I'm Elena Lynch. We'll see you back here in 2 weeks at the same time here on Newsline 14. Happy Thanksgiving.